Here to ask for your blessing and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, gentlemen. This way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. As I said, good evening. We're glad that you're with us. We have one of our city commissioners who is on vacation, probably a very well-deserved vacation, and then we have one who has a prior commitment, and so our chairman is not here. So as your vice chairman, I am conducting the meeting tonight. Our first order of business will be to recognize Chuck Olmstead of the Accounting Department as the October 2012 Strongest Link Award recipient. Director of Administrative Services, Marcus Schwab will address. I had Ward on my mind. Good evening. I think this is quite an honor.
Take it that way.
Well, good evening, Commissioners. Chief Strickland initiated the nomination, and after seeing the nomination, I went ahead and had to second that nomination with a resounding yes. And I'm glad to see that everyone else chimed in and put their 2 cents worth. Without Chuck, the accounting department would run. However, not the way it does now. Okay? Chuck is an integral part of this organization. And with him at the helm as the accounting manager, he's my bridge, he's my right hand when it comes to disseminating information and fine-tuning and guiding the organization. Chuck's my go-to. We need any sort of information. The directors all here can vouch for this. They'll come to Chuck and they'll get the answers. If they can't get it from one of our staff, Chuck will ultimately get the answer and get to the bottom of it. We can count on him to be here timely. He gets the work done when he says he gets it done, when it's needed. He's there at the city's disposal, basically. And there's no member on this team that's more vital right now, today, that I think is more important than Chuck right now, because he is my right-hand man. And I couldn't think of another person that's more deserving, that's been here for as long as Chuck has in the finance department. So without further ado, I just want to commend Chuck for receiving the nomination as Employee of the Month.
All right.
It is an honor. Thank you. I do feel part of a team, an integral part of a team, and no more than any one of those folks sitting out there. Thank you. Well, what do you got there?
Shane.
Connie, hang it around his neck. Just do it official. Got my good side. Thank you.
Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck. Go ahead.
Congratulations. About 9 years ago, we had financial turmoil in the city, and you stood before us before we had a finance director to be accountable, and you took a lot of heat from us, but for 9 years you've taken care of us, and we appreciate all your dedication and hard work.
And you know how much I think of you, Chuck. And Chuck and I have a mutual friend in Betty Hanna, and who was the former mayor of Fairburn, and so we stayed in contact with Betty through Chuck, and so always a joy to come across you whenever I come up to City Hall, and it is well deserved.
Thank you very much. Good night.
All right, at this time, we will recognize Eddie Bogan, Certification Manager for the Griffin Police Department for 25 years of service to the city. Chief Strickland will address.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It is with a great deal of pleasure that I get to recognize Mr. Bogan for 25 years of dedicated service. He started with the Griffin Police Department on November the 1st, 1987. He has been a uniform patrol officer. He worked in DARE for a while, and he was also a systems analyst and intelligence crime analyst in the police department for about 10 years. And then we had the opportunity to get our accreditation and certification manager's position established, and Mr. Bogan took that in 2004 and has done an excellent job. He's gotten us reaccredited 3 times with state certification, and as of last week, we will get our 3rd international certification. It's now international certification in Charlotte, North Carolina in March.
Wow.
Charleston, I'm sorry. I keep trying to go to North Carolina, but anyway, it's in Charleston. It's in Charleston. But Eddie's done an excellent job. We went through the CALEA on-site assessment, and I think we had 24 file maintenance issues, and that's all we had, and that was just paper that was missing from a file. And they were greatly impressed with the City of Griffin Police Department and the accreditation department. And I just appreciate what Eddie does. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to work for you and for making this city proud for 25 years. And it don't seem that long, but, you know, I guess time flies when you're having fun and you find a job you enjoy doing. You never have to work a day in your life. Thank you.
Again, you've done an outstanding job as well, Eddie, and we've known each other as long as I've been on the board, and so we're proud to have employees like you.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, our next order of business will be to recognize the Leadership Development Institute. It was created to encourage current and future leaders of the City of Griffin to participate in a formal program designed to teach the necessary skills to unlock their leadership potential, as well as fostering individual personal growth. This 12-week program included 6 full-day classes and 6 Leadership Power Hour sessions covering a variety of topics. The participants were nominated by their department director and come from a variety of departments within the organization. Chief Tommy Jones will introduce them and make the presentation.
Okay, Commissioners, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Class 4 of the City of Griffin Leadership Development Institute. As you said before, Madam Chair, that this was one of the city manager's goals about 5 years ago, and we put together a program that we've been very proud of. We had our biggest group ever this year, and they were an outstanding group. And again, I say this every year, this city has a lot to look forward to with the quality of people that are going through this program. Again, you covered pretty much the gist of the program. We had the privilege of bringing in 3 outside instructors this year. I got some help come in, and of course, Mr. Smith, Mr. Neville, and myself taught the rest of them. And it was a great year, and we want to recognize them now. Mr. Neville is going to read their names, and I'm going to present them with their plaque and their golf shirt. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hi, Mo. I wasn't leaving you out.
Oh, it's okay. All right. Hold on, let me put my glasses on. I turned 50 in a week, so I don't see real good anymore.
Good. Senior citizen.
Okay. We're going to read these out in alphabetical order, not necessarily who's my favorite and who's my least favorite. Stevie Williams, although he's at the bottom, okay, he is my least favorite, but it just worked out that way. Stevie, you know I can't help it. Okay, here we go. Sorry. First is Rita Bagwell, Contract Desk Supervisor with Customer Service. And hold your applause till the end.
Okay.
Just come over here. All right, next we have Brian Banks, Lieutenant in the Fire Department. Next is the very, very, very quiet Chris Bergen, Lead Engineering Tech in the Electric Department.
Hey, Chris. Martha Drolet, Superintendent in the Water Department. Lee Goodman, Line Crew Supervisor, Electric Department. Justin Hammonds, but he is not here, so we'll skip to Kerry Jackson, Corporal in the Police Department, or as he is known, K-Row. Sorry, Kerry. Chip Johns, Detective, Police Department. Reggie Johnson is not here. I think he's out working, actually. Curtis Keys, Lieutenant, Police Department. Clay Lewis, Firefighter, Fire Department. Justin Lyles, Firefighter, Fire Department. Mr. James Moore, Deputy Director, Stormwater. Gene Phillips, Billing Analyst, Electric. Tommy Perry Solenberger's not here. Rico Starks is not here. Kara Toland, Office Technician, Solid Waste. Mr. Todd Wheeler, Battalion Chief, Fire. Mr. Doug White, Construction Projects Manager, Public Works. Last but not least, Stevie Williams, Shop Supervisor, Motor Pool. Okay, give them a hand. Anybody want to say anything? You don't have to. Y'all say like I'm the best manager in the whole city? Okay, they won't say that. I'll say it, I am now. Thanks, y'all.
I'll leave now. I believe we have representatives here from Brightmoor Hospice and from Christian Ministries Hospice. If they will come forward, we have two proclamations to present. Ryan McLemore, Commissioner McLemore, will present these proclamations.
And we have two proclamations with basically the identical language, so I'll just read one, but one will be the Christian Ministries Hospice and the other is Brightmoor. A proclamation, Christian Ministries Hospice Care, National Hospice Palliative Care Month, November 2012. Whereas hospice and palliative care provides patients and families the highest quality care during life-limiting illness and at the end of life through expert pain management, symptom control, emotional support, and spiritual care to patients and family caregivers when experiencing is not possible. Whereas every year more than 1.58 million people living with a life-limiting illness receive care from hospice palliative care provider programs in communities throughout the United States. Hospice care is most effective for patients and families in the final months of life when families can take full advantage of the range of services hospice provides. Whereas professional and compassionate hospice staff, including physicians, nurses, social workers, therapists, counselors, health aides, and clergy, provide comprehensive care focused on the wishes of each individual patient. Whereas Office as a subspecialty with an emerging group of healthcare providers who specialize in end-of-life care. More than 400,000 trained volunteers contribute 18 million hours of service to hospice program annually. Whereas providing high-quality hospice and hospice care reaffirms our belief in the essential dignity of every person, regardless of age, health, or social status, and that every phase of human life deserves to be treated with the utmost respect and care. Whereas Christian Ministries Hospice Care and other hospice and hospice care providers encourage all people to learn more about options, care, and to share their wishes with family, loved ones, and their healthcare professionals. Therefore, we, the Commissioners of the City of Griffin, of the State of Georgia, do hereby proclaim November 2012 as National Hospice Palliative Care Month in the City of Griffin and encourage all citizens to increase their understanding and awareness of care at the end of life. And witness whereof I appear and do set my hands and cause the bill of the City of Griffin to be affixed the 13th day in November 2012, signed Cyprian Reward, Chairperson of the City of Griffin, and Kingston City Manager. And so for Christian Ministries, I'll hand that to you. And again, the identical language, but Brighton Hospital.
Would you like to, we welcome you to have any comments that you would like to make, and we welcome you to our meeting tonight.
Thank you so much, City Councilmen and ladies. We would say that we are most humble and honored to receive this proclamation, and we want to continue to bring care and concern and commitment to the City of Griffin. Again, we say thank you.
You're welcome. Janie?
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, City Commissioners. We appreciate this recognition, and we'd like you to know that we do our best to bring the utmost care to the citizens of Spalding County. Thank you.
We know that you do. Thank you all for coming. At this time, we will review our financials for September 2012. Marcus Schwab will again come to the podium.
Okay, good evening again.
Good evening.
For round two.
Yes.
First item will be the cash balance report as of September 30th. We're a quarter into the year, 3 months into the fiscal year, and still holding on our cash and being conservative with our expenditures. If there are, at this time, any questions about the cash balance report, I'll entertain those.
I don't have any. Do you, Doug? Do you have any comments? Ryan? All righty. No comments, Marcus. We're pleased with it. Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the next item is the sales tax analysis, which looks at the local option sales tax and the special purpose local option sales tax. Just a note of comment on the SPLOST. We've had communications with the county and the Bank of New York. At this point, the custodian will release monies back into our account. The bonds for the construction have been satisfied, the principal payments, and so now beginning with the October release, you'll see numbers posting again into the SPLOST account. Okay.
Lost looks good.
And moving on into the interim statements. Again, this is as of September 30th. And if you have any questions regarding the revenues or expenditures.
Are there any? Marcus, thank you so much. Thank you for the good job that you do.
Thank you. I do have one other item, if I may.
Yes.
I presented to you today a copy of the revenue status report. If you'd like, I can go through that, or we can entertain questions at a later date. That's at your pleasure.
Well, since I've just received it tonight, I would just as soon wait till a later date, maybe at our next meeting if we have any questions.
Sure.
But this is an excellent piece of material, and I hope that the public request a copy of it.
Okay. It is also available on our website.
Okay, good. Thank you. Ryan, did you have anything? Cora? Nope. Okay, very good. Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you.
At this time, it is now time for citizen comments. We'll open the floor to Comments from the audience. Comments should be relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Having said that, is there anyone on my left who would like to come forward and make a citizen comment? Is there anyone on my right who would like to come forward and make a comment? If not, then we will go into our public hearings. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comment on specific advertised issues such as rezoning, ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the City Commission. Our first item under this is to receive comments regarding a request for variance from the City of Griffin Unified Development Code, Article 504, Accessory Structure Requirements under low-density residential for the property located at 413 Audubon Circle, effectively reducing the side yard setbacks from a minimum required 20 feet to 8 feet. Taurus Freeman, who is our Director of Planning and Development, will address this issue.
Good evening. Taurus Freeman, Director of Planning and Development Services. We received this request from the applicant, and upon review of the request by Hal Johnson, staff recommends denial. However, we did receive notifications from the two adjoining property owners, one Ms. Gina Ford and another from Mr. Jerry Walker, and they are in favor of the request.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone on my left or on my right who would like to come forward and address this issue?
Who lives on the Taurus?
Sir.
On the where the garage addition is going to be? Who lives on closest to that property line? Is that Mr. Walker?
No, Mr. Walker lives at 410, okay, and Ms. Davis lives at 411 Audubon Circle.
Okay. Our second item for a public hearing is to receive comments regarding a request for a variance from the City of Griffin Unified Development Code at Article 1214 C1, Emerging Corridor. Ground signs, to permit ground signage in excess of the 12 square feet provision for property located at 726 South 8th Street. Taurus Freeman will again address this issue.
Yes, staff has heard the request from Emory McIntosh Trail Family Practice and Miller E.G. Designs, and staff recommends denial of the request. However, there are several signs in the area which have grandfather status, and this sign would fall in line with all the other signs in the area.
Right, and we have a picture of this in our agenda book.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's not like it's a freestanding sign or anything like that.
No, ma'am.
It's just the lettering. All right, this is a public hearing. Do we have anyone on my left who would like to come forward and address this issue? Or on my right who would like to come forward? Oh, please step forward and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm John Barrow with Miller E.G. Design.
Okay.
And I just wanted to thank you all for hearing our variance request and just reiterate what is stated in our variance questionnaire answers, and thank Taurus for pointing out that a lot of the signs in the area are grandfathered in. And as I stated in our answers, we just feel that it would be an enhancement to the property given the lines of sight that exist now, so that it would make traffic more readily available to see the entrance in time to turn in. Certainly with the elevations and grade changes there, it makes sense.
Okay.
And
are there any questions from the commissioners?
There's nothing that illuminates about this sign, right?
No, sir, it's a non-illuminated sign.
No flashing lights?
As soon as illumination or changeable copy. As soon as we see sign, I think we're all pretty wary.
Sure. Everyone wants a
This is a touchy subject with us.
Big TV sign nowadays. This is a simple non-illuminated sign. It's white letters on a blue field.
Well, the presentation looks nice. You did present the presentation, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Y'all have copies, I think.
All right.
Will this be lighted?
It's an accurate rendering of what it will be.
No lighting at all.
No lighting.
There's plenty of ambient lighting in the area, and the business is not open in the evening.
All right.
We
I did ride down through there, and I saw some other signs that were already there.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and in my corridor, I thought this would make a good presentation. All right, if there are no other signs, comments, we thank you. We don't have any more signs tonight, I hope. All right, we will now go into our consent agenda. Consider approval of minutes to the regular scheduled meeting on October the 23rd, 2012, and minutes of the workshop on October the 23rd, 2012.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it's 5-0 in favor. Thank you. All right, item number 10, consider a request for a variance from City of Griffin Unified Development Code, Article 504, accessory structure requirements under low-density residential for the property located at 413 Autobahn Circle, effectively reducing the side yard setbacks from the minimum required 20 feet to 8 feet.
I'd like to make the motion to approve with a question, Taurus.
All right, we have a motion to approve with a question. Do we have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. Okay, ask your question.
Taurus, are there any conditions with approval that we need to put into this?
No, sir. Staff did not feel as though any conditions were warranted due to this being a residential area and other accessory structures within the development.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, I'll call for the vote now. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, Judy, 5-0 to approve. Thank you. Item number 11, consider request for variance from the City of Griffin Unified Development Code at Article 1214C1, emerging corridor ground signs, to permit ground signage in excess of the 12 square feet provision for property located at 726 South 8th Street. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
To approve?
Yeah.
And a second?
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, Judy, for approval. Thank you. Item number 12, consider the purchase of one Ford Escape from Speedway Ford in the amount of $19,629.69, which is lower than the state contract of $20,629. For the use in the Planning Division, declare as surplus unit number 176, a Dodge Intrepid, to be retired from service and advertised on Gov Deals, and amend the budget accordingly. Funding will come from the insurance settlement on a Dodge Charger in the amount of $16,237. The balance will come from savings on vehicles purchased for the city manager, $2,480, and Public Works Deputy Director of $912.63. The current vehicle is in poor condition, so a new vehicle is needed to fulfill the rigors of this division. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the request.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, Judy, 5-0. All right, item number 13.
Can you see you have a question? Did somebody have a question?
Did they? Nope. No. Okay. Item number 13, consider the purchase of one Ford F-150 pickup truck from Speedway Ford in the amount of $15,548.06, lower than state contract price of $16,727 for the use in the Planning Department, and we will declare surplus unit number 110 and advertise on Gov Deals.
Make a motion to approve that purchase.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the purchase. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, it is approved. Thank you. All right. Item number 14. Consider a petition for annexation of the following lots for acceptance by the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners by motion to direct staff to give statutory notice to Spalding County. The properties listed are 310 Searcy Avenue, .48 plus or minus acres, lot blocked 126.1, and then 001. 312 Searcy Avenue, 40.45 plus or minus acres, lot block 12601-.002. 316 Searcy Avenue, 2.64 plus or minus acres, lot block 12601.005. And 316 Searcy Avenue, 33 plus or minus acres, lot and block of 126.01.003. And then 933 Harlow Avenue, .34 plus or minus acres, lot block 126.01.007A.
Make a motion to approve the petition for annexation.
You're not approving the petition for annexation, you're only accepting it tonight so we can start the statutory process of giving notice to the county. We'll have to hold a public hearing before you vote on the actual petition.
Okay, so we are just
considering a petition.
Considering the
for annexation of these
petition,
parcels.
all right. So do we need a second to consider it?
You just need to accept it and direct Taurus to go ahead and give the statutory notice to the county.
Is it agreeable to accept this?
Yes.
Okay, then we will accept this on behalf and give you direction to proceed with the county.
Thank you.
Okay, very good.
That'll go for the next item as well.
Okay, all right. Item number 15 is to consider a petition for annexation of 424 Searcy Avenue, .91 plus or minus acres, lot block 126.02.008 for acceptance by the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners by motion to direct staff to give statutory notice to Spalding County. Would I get the same acceptance from our board and direction?
Make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion and a second, whether it's needed or not. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, it's 5-0 for you all to proceed as directed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Item number 16, consider the purchase of a 2013 Ford F-350 cab and chassis equipped with a Knapheide service body from Speedway Ford. The lowest and most responsive bidder in the amount of $30,996.78 for use in the motor pool division. And then we'll also declare a surplus unit number 154 and advertise on Gov Deals. Central Services Director Phil Francis will address if there are any questions.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous, Judy, for approval. Thank you. Item number 17, consider resolution for authorization to execute an agreement governing expenditures for state and local governments to the Georgia Department of Natural Resources Environmental Protection Division for reimbursement of $13,985 in eligible costs payable to the City of Griffin for ongoing post-closure maintenance at the Shoal Creek landfill from the State Hazardous Waste Trust Fund. If there are any questions, Phil is here to answer them. Do you have any?
It's our money.
That's right.
Yeah.
So do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Phil.
Welcome.
All right, number 18 is to consider a resolution for authorization to execute an agreement governing expenditures for state and local governments to the Georgia Department of Natural Resources Environmental Protection Division for reimbursement of $85,111.25 in eligible costs payable to the City of Griffin for remediation of the Thomas property from the State Hazardous Waste Trust Fund.
Make a motion to accept this $85,111.25.
You second it. We have a motion and a second to approve this. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous, Judy. Thank you.
Good job, Phil.
All right. Item number 19. Consider purchase of FlexiPave from KB Industries for the Stormwater Division in the amount of $19,035. Do you have any questions of Dr. Keller? He is here in case you do. If not, I will consider a motion.
Make a motion.
Go ahead. Make a motion to approve.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 20, consider an agreement with Manley Acquisition Services, LLC, to negotiate acquisition of easements for the 2012 Community Development Block Grant Parcels. Dr. Keller is here again. He will address this if there are any questions.
I have to abstain because having property in the CDG grant area.
All right, we understand that. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, we have four and one abstention. Thank you, Doug, for mentioning that because I did not know it. All right, number 21, consider an excess capacity sale in the amount of $2,000 1,017 kilowatts to the City of Beaufort for the price of $3.88 per kilowatt for calendar year 2013. Bill Bosch is here in case you have any questions. Do you have any questions?
Make a motion to sell the power.
All right, we have a motion to, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 22, consider an excess capacity sale in the amount of 1,092 kilowatts to the City of Jackson at the price of $3.88 a kilowatt for calendar year 2013. Bill is here again if you have any questions.
Make a motion to sell the power.
All right, we have a motion to sell the power. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you. Number 23, consider a lease agreement with Pitney Bowes for a Connect Plus 2000 postage system to replace the current unit in the amount of $712 per month, billed quarterly, with the new agreement to take effect in January 2013. Director of Electric, Bill Bosch, will address if necessary. Do I have a motion to accept and approve?
Make a motion to accept.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 24, consider approval of the City of Griffin 2013 holiday schedule. All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion we approve holiday schedule.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the holiday schedule. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Item number 25, consider approval and ratification of the Bank of America Merrill Lynch Banking Resolution and Certificate of Incumbency. Marcus Schwab will address if necessary. Wow, that doesn't say much, does it? Except we're approving it, right?
It basically designates who the authorities are to open the account, close the account, or change the account, or add accounts.
Oh, that's right. We discussed this.
This is all part of the bond resolution. They are the custodian agents.
Fund custodian.
Yes.
Right.
Through the bond covenants.
Right. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous.
Thank
all
you.
Three persons would have to be involved to make a change, is that?
Any of those three individuals listed
Could
can
make that
act
change.
collectively or individually.
Okay.
Right. Item number 26, consider a resolution adopting written post-issuance policies and procedures for issues of tax-advantaged bonds to assure compliance with Section 148 of the Internal Revenue Code relating to arbitrage. What is it?
Arbitrage.
Arbitrage. Okay.
Let me announce to you that, of course, the City of Griffin Combined Public Utility Revenue Refunding Bond Series 2012 successfully closed last week, and the bonds have been sold.
Wonderful.
So that went very well, despite all the effort that went into it. This is a resolution, a follow-up resolution, really, to the bond issue. Part of our responsibility as an issuer of bonds is to do what the law calls secondary disclosure, which are periodic changes in our either operational or our financial position, which we have to file so that persons who buy bonds in the public arena will be aware of these changes. And this is a resolution that's now required by the IRS. We were never required to do this in the past, but the next time we issued bonds, we had to do it. So this is part of that process. And what it's going to do is designate your Director of Administrative Services, Mr. Schwab at this time, as the Post-Issuance Compliance Officer, also referred to as the PICO. So if you want to refer to Marcus as PICO from here on, you've got a reason to do so. But basically what it addresses is the continuing disclosure obligation that the city now has, and he's going to be responsible to seeing that process is timely complied with.
Right.
So you
These
said we
bonds
can pick on him.
are tax.
Yeah, you pick on him.
Right. All right. Those of you who understood Drew, do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
And what about a second? Second. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. All right, that concludes our agenda. City Manager, do you have a report?
Yes, ma'am. As you know, we're planning a holiday festival downtown for December the 1st, so I need to know know how many golf carts you will need in the parade, and I need to know if you're going to have a candy table in our market area at the park at 6, if you'll let Kira know. Main Street's setting that up, and we're handling golf carts, so if you'll be sure to let us know about that in the next few days.
What time's the parade start?
Yes, sir.
6 p.m.
I believe so.
And then the tree lighting is right afterwards?
Yes, ma'am. All one night, all in here together, starting at 5:30 at the mistletoe market till about 8:30, and the parade's at 6.
And if it's cold, are we gonna have hot chocolate?
We probably will at the mistletoe market at 6th Street Park.
Super.
Refreshments, candy, hot chocolate, the works.
I vote to work at the market instead of riding a golf cart.
Just a reminder that Citizens Government Academy will hold their graduation Thursday night at 6:30 at the Welcome Center here in Portland event. We've got a good group ready to graduate. If you're up and real bored in the morning or Thursday morning, I'll be on Financial Matters at WHIA with Bobby Chappell, 7:30 Thursday morning. Don't forget to get with Judy on your GMA Mayor's Day registrations. We need to get those in as well. I wanted to congratulate the LDI class, but they got out of here. But that's a good program, and I appreciate Chief Jones and Miles Neville taking the lead on that. Finally, at our next meeting, we'll be setting the millage rate for our taxes. We're a little behind this year. We didn't have a meeting to set a proposed rate, so I went ahead and advertised the highest rollback rate, which is not considered a tax increase. However, in the memo that I gave you, the staff is recommending that we leave our millage rate the same. So I've given you all that information, and we'll be having our required discussion on that at our next meeting. We had to go ahead and get it to the paper last week to get an ad in to have the proper notice. So we went ahead and advertised the rollback rate of 8.989. However, we're recommending that our rate stay at 8.636.
You know, and people are already asking questions about that. I had a phone call about it this afternoon, and I told them that the millage rate will not change. By law, we had to advertise the highest rate, but that did not mean that that's what they were going to be paying.
You can actually come down from that advertisement as much as you want to. You just can't go above it. So
right, and I explained that too.
Sorry?
The lower the better.
The lower the better.
Right.
Absolutely.
I agree. Is that it?
That's it. Thank you.
Drew?
I have nothing.
Okay, Shahir.
I just want to, before the Boy Scouts leave, I would like to take a picture of them. So if you guys could wait around just a few seconds, let me get a picture.
That's neat. Thank you. Doug?
No comment.
All right. Ryan?
Yeah, a comment. I want this board to start talking again about the airport. When I first came on this board, it was kind of the big issue out there. And at that time, we were talking about issuing bonds or something to that effect for addressing the actual cost that it was going to take to get the airport going. Then T-Splosh came along, and I got the impression that it kind of became this make-or-break thing based off of whether or not T-Splosh passed, even though that didn't even become an option until much later in the discussion. So what I want to see is, I'm worried that it's dragging to some effect. I want to see in the next couple of board meetings a debt service plan that gives us options to work with the county to issue debt to get this airport moving forward. Because for me, that's a big priority. And I think it's an overarching goal for a lot of things when you can effectively get a $55 million project that's 90% paid for. You're not going to get that kind of return on a lot of the investments that we make as a city. So it's a big deal to me. And I'm worried that it's just kind of rolling along, playing out, when I know their original intent was issuing bonds, or at least that was what I felt at the time. Their original intent was issuing bonds. So I just want to see some debt service options, whether it goes out for 25 years, 30 years, whatever bridges that amount of time before we start getting reimbursements or that sort of thing. But we need to start doing something. Otherwise, we're going to be responsible for letting it die.
Let me bring you up to date on something. That was one of the issues, funding of how to acquire land for a new airport. It's been one of the issues the Airport Authority has looked into. Even though conceivably bonds could issue, revenue bonds could be issued, the real problem is there's no market for those bonds in the economy, even in a good economy. The airport bonds have not been a favored form of debt issuance for local governments. So we've talked to the underwriters, talked to several underwriters. In fact, Dick Morrow, who chairs the Airport Authority, has formed a committee, and I think Ron Alexander chaired that committee for the authority, and they've pretty well explored those options. We've even looked at, or had some discussions of maybe finding a private party, so you would not be doing a public offering, but finding a private party who would basically advance the money subject to being reimbursed when the FAA money comes in. You've got to spend the money to get the money, in other words, for this type of financing. So I think it's a real stumbling block for the construction of a new airport, and I think they're aware of that. You may want to have a joint meeting with them. They'll have been in existence now for 6 months.
We met last night. I've got some really interesting things to impart to Ryan.
And it may be good to have a joint meeting between this board and the authority coming up in the near future.
Well, it would be.
Okay, I mean, you know, and I'll be interested in what you have to say in response to it, because, you know, as far as the bond market's going to be as attractive as its rate is.
Well, it is. It's not so much the market as the type of risk associated with an airport. If you had a strong general commercial aviation airport, like you have maybe at Peachtree DeKalb, or what is it, McCollum Field up in Marietta, Kennesaw, from that area. If you had something of that nature where you had a lot of on-site fixed-based operators, then you've got a strong revenue flow. But frankly, we've got the best revenue flow we've ever had at the current airport, but you just don't have that assurance going forward. If this was an established project, it would be much stronger in financial terms.
Well, I don't want to rule out general obligation bonds either.
Well, that's a possibility.
I realize that might have to be something that would go to voters, but that's
eventually, if it goes to the voters, that would be great. You know, it's a shame that T-Splosh did fail. Those counties that those regions that did pass it, they're going to not have any struggle in filling their transportation needs. And I think part of our problem was that we were just too close to the Atlanta market, and there was so much negativity coming out of the Atlanta market because of MARTA and everything else. And people's general dislike and grumbling about, another penny sales tax. But we won't get anywhere until the people take responsibility for what we've got to do. It can't be just our decisions to say we would like to have it. They've got to be on board with us, and they have not been on board with us, and perhaps general bonds and getting the public involved would be the right thing to do. But before I tell this, Corey, do we have anything?
I don't.
Okay. All right.
Well,
the airport advisory.
And if I could just respond too, it's not dead. I mean, we're
working hard.
Under every rock. In fact, I had a meeting this afternoon, exactly what you're talking about. So the communication may not be what it should be, but I know the staff as well as the authority is working on it pretty consistently to make sure that hopefully we can make something happen. We haven't put the pieces together yet, but we're looking under all the rocks.
We are, and last night you get to the point where you're frustrated, and it's almost like you're beating dead horses, because we know what this can do for our community. It's just getting our community to realize and be willing to tax themselves to have jobs. We gripe and we complain about nothing's ever done. Well, we have that portion of our community that is so negative in their thought patterns that they almost color everybody else, and it's a small minority, and so they are the ones who are pulling the tail, so to speak. But Robert has been named the he has been appointed the Association President of the Georgia Aviation Association. Last night we had a gentleman here from that represented drones, so to speak. That's what he didn't call it a drone, but this is unmanned aircraft that's being built at Middle Georgia College through grants. And the things that it can do as far as helping farmers with fertilizer and things like that, there are many things going on in this particular area. One of the reasons he was invited was as a private person coming in that maybe would make have an influence and maybe want to be part of a new airport in this particular area. We have had citizens, members of our airport advisory, talk with a local bank about helping us finance something that will be guaranteed repaid to them by 95%, and where the citizens would pay the other 5%, the city and the county. Carl Pruitt is sitting here. He's on this committee, and we meet and we discuss every option. We are getting ready. Also Larry Johnson is on this committee. The first of the year, the airport authority will take over the management of the local airport. Is this correct, Kenny? We're working toward that goal?
I think the authority has that decision to make. Yes.
Right, and also we've done our Budget and Finance Committee of this Airport Advisory Committee has looked in depth at what the budget would be, what the assets are, what the amount of money it would take right now to run our airport, concerning whether we get taxes on the lease, on the hangars out there, if that can be part of the airport authority money, etc. There really is work going on. There's a lot of frustration. You're right, and I appreciate what you say about not letting it go on the back burner, because Ryan, it's going to be your age group that's going to push this, because you are the future, and we've got to look to the future of Griffin and Spalding County and to provide some avenue for jobs and a reason for people to move here and to live here and work here. So, I just am grateful for your saying that you would like to be on board and push this. We all need to. We need jobs in this community. We need people to be proactive and be proud of our community and say we can do these things. Sometimes we have such a negative attitude that colors everything that we attempt to do, and we get discouraged. We shouldn't. We really shouldn't. There are enough of us that believe in projects that will benefit this community that we shouldn't allow the naysayers to outshout us. With that, I'm probably going to be blackballed and tomatoes thrown at my house. So, are there any other comments?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? All right, we are adjourned.